Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I watched it yesterday. I've been dying to see it since because I've always keep my eye on Sundance and always wanted to go and never. It's quite awkward to get to. I think from the UK, it's two different flights and it's quite expensive and everything else. So we always get all the films, but never get to see them for quite a while. But I finally got to see it. I've been waiting months to see it, so I finally got to see it last night. So that was great. So congratulations on that. I mean, it must be it's been a bit of a whirlwind year for you in terms of the film and other stuff that you've got going on. But take me back to your Sundance experience, because that in itself must be such a great experience, because you're in amongst filmmakers who have made, independent films, right, and all they're films that they're really they're passionate about everything they do, but even more passionate about these kind of smaller movies. That must have been exciting to be part of that community for those few days.
100%. I mean, I've joked before of like, I wish somebody would have told me I wouldn't have had the time to watch films at Sundance. Because like in my mind, like you want to go to Sundance because you want to go and you want to just hop theaters and see all the movies that you possibly can. And I even had my sister fly out, and we maybe only got to watch maybe five films that whole week, just because the nature of the press and everything that was happening. But it was crazy, man. It was just, I think it was everybody that was a part of the film. It was everybody's first Sundance, aside from like Korea and Ekwa. They had done like the Writers Lab, I think the year prior. But for everybody else, this was the first time we'd ever been to Sundance. So we're all super excited and like nervous to have an audience see this project for the first time. And you're just casually walking the streets of Utah with like these stars and like creators. And it's just, it was truly a amazing thing to have, especially pre-COVID, before it really went crazy. To get that one festival in, it was great.
Yeah, all the big stars in their boots and their big thick jumpers.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Just passing each other.
Yeah, I bet that must be a strange experience, unlike many festivals, because you go the film, and some films go and they've been bought before. Some films are going there to hope to get some more finances or to get distribution. So within the space of the movie beginning and finishing, the life of the movie kind of changes, I guess. The film gets picked up, hopefully everything else. I mean, the experience afterwards must be stranger than before, because it kind of takes on a different scope, if you like.
Well, especially this year, right? Because every festival after Sundance had to be online. So it really took on a different nature. Because Sundance feels like such an isolated experience. There's all this, you're inundated with everything that's happening, and then you just suddenly go back to life as normal, right? Waiting for the next festival or whatever. And then given the year we've had, of everybody not sure now what's happening with their film, or the way in which it's going to be distributed, or who's looking to pick it up where, or how it's even going to get seen now that festivals are having to change their platforms. So yeah, it's quite mad and weird when you think about it. Because also now Sundance feels like so long ago since it was pre-COVID, and COVID has felt like eternity. So it just feels like a whole other lifetime when we were there.
It doesn't, January is approaching again. It doesn't feel like a year has passed. It feels like a couple of years have passed.
Yeah. It's strange, man. It's strange.
Lots of things have been happening. So, I mean, you've obviously had amazing responses to the film so far. Is that in itself a bit weird, in a sense that you made the movie, you all put your heart and soul into it, and then you get the kind of relief, I guess, that people like it, because sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But you must be delighted with how people have responded to it, and not just general audiences, people who have taken a lot of what the story's about to heart and have been kind of thankful that you've been able to tell the story.
Yeah, because I didn't really have a concept of, mind you, this is my first film, this is my first project, and so I didn't really have a concept of what that's like. What I mean is, with theater, right? You rehearse, you get the material, you rehearse for 4 weeks, you're in previews, you then have a run for however long, and you're getting in the moment response, in time response, right? Because the audience, that night, you are getting feedback that night with your audience, right? And that's what makes theater amazing, is this lived thing that only exists in that moment, right? So I had not yet experienced creating something and being done with it, and then it popping up a few months or a year later, and then people responding to the thing you've created. So that's a very new thing for me that I'm working with, this kind of like delayed gratification, right? It's like all this work that we did in what feels like isolation, this little tiny private thing that was just us, intimate thing. And now it's being shared. And it's truly beautiful to see the kinds of responses that people are getting. And I'm just so thankful that Ekwa is getting all of this acclaim and recognition for what she's created, because I think she is phenomenal. I absolutely love this woman. And in those ways, it feels so good. It feels so good for people who have worked so long to get recognized, right? In a greater way. Because like for me, I just started. So, I just take things with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? It's just me still figuring it out. Whereas like Bruce, our DP, the recognition that he's getting from the stunning work that he did with this film, that's like thrilling to get.
Yeah. And I mean, the story itself, I mean, it's a story that we're seeing a lot more of in real life, in the sense of, families being separated, immigrants, some being able to come to different countries, some not be able to, some trying to make ends meet. And the story feels like it's so relevant to today's, politics, economics. There's so much going on in this movie. How was that experience for you guys making it? Because not just do you have that, but you have the extra layer of the story's kind of told from each of the 3 characters' point of view, which makes it even more fascinating. You kind of really get into the kind of psyche of how these people are feeling and how real people in real life are feeling.
Yeah, I mean, what Ekwa did was she gave these Angolan immigrants a voice. And even though they are experiencing the same event, right, they are having 3 separate experiences and journeys. And it's too often that or I'll even speak just for me, that I ignorantly assume that the immigrant experience is this one thing that every immigrant experiences, right? And that is a form of erasure, right? We are erasing the specific identities of these human beings. And so in her choice to tell it from each of their point of view, not only are you getting a full story, but you're getting a full scope on these 3 different humanities. I talk about one of the greatest things when I finally got to see the film, when we got to Esther's part in the film. What a relief. Like, I just was so thankful, because it's too easy for someone like Esther to be written off, to be disregarded as this religious zealot who doesn't understand what her daughter, this hardened woman. And for her to get her story told, you understand that she's the cornerstone for this whole family, that without her, everything falls apart. And that I know women like Esther who were just so thankful to see see her story get breath, on the screen. And that's just a testament to what Ekwa knew what she was doing, yeah.
And the 3 of you together is incredible. There's many moments in the movie that kind of both separately and together that are really touching and really moving, and you kind of, as you say, kind of get into the the journeys that they're going on, which are very, very different. But also there's the scene right at the beginning when you guys are having dinner together, and it's kind of, you're all kind of separated, but you're trying to come together, and there's an awkwardness to it. But that's, you know, it's so wonderfully reflects where they're about to go and what they're about to do. That must have been a great scene to film together.
Oh, we had a blast. We were cracking up. If anybody has the outtakes for that, and like Ntare, Zainab, and myself, we were cracking up. Bruce, like everybody on set, we were just, because it's so awkward. It is so awkward. Here's this man who's trying to cook and welcome them in, and he can't cook to save his life. And where is the stew? Like, what is this that we're eating? Like, what is this meal? But it was stuff like that, like little moments that I appreciated, that was written in of levity, of humor, right? Again, not going against what we think the immigrant experience or story is, right? Too often we think that, okay, they get reunited and that's the end, right? And so they live happily ever after. And it's, no, there is things that now need to get worked out and figure out. Life still continues for them. And so when we bump against those awkward moments of each character trying to adjust to the new circumstance, it's just, people resonate with that because it's real, it's authentic. And people understand it because families can be separated for various reasons, not just because of immigration. You know, there is military, there is prison, there is like there's just so many variables where people can understand and relate to trying to reunite with a loved one or reunite the family. So those moments always stick out. People get that. They know what that is. They know that dinner scene. They've had that dinner scene.
Yeah, I have my, you know, I've no, you know, I had that with my family, but it's obviously awkward anyway with my family. Anyway.
Do tell.
No. It's Christmas. I'll let them off. Okay, good. On the flip side, there, before my time runs out, obviously this is a film that needs as much oxygen as it possibly can. You know, people want to, talk about it. It's come out of Sundance. It's independent. It's an important story, and you do all these interviews, everything to give it as much kind of oxygen as to say that you could possibly give it. Then on your second film, you've gone on to a film that you can't talk about because it's such a you say the words Batman and straight away, yeah, right. I'm in the Batman film. Oh, who do you play? I don't know. But how was that experience going from that to, because I know obviously you can't say a thing, but we've seen a trailer, we kind of get the gist of what we're hopefully going to see, which is very different to the others. But for you personally, how was the experience going from something like that to then something as big and as secretive as a superhero film like that?
I mean, it's a total shock to the system, right? Like, it's really, I think because of just how the timing of everything. I'm coming out of a training program in which I've only ever done theater. And then I've got to go into this indie film and do this Angolan dialect and do Kuduro dancing, neither of which I'm skilled in at all. That's a whole lot of pressure. And then going from that and having to go to this big, major film in which the first day we've got 3 or 4 cameras rolling at the same time. And I'm not trying to look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm asking questions. And you know what I mean? It's just, it was a lot, but I didn't let myself think about that, right? It was more so, I just got to do my work. I got to show up and not get fired. That was the thing. I'm just going to show up and not get fired, because they could fire me right now and find somebody else. And you know what I mean? I didn't allow myself to think any bigger than that. But then the beautiful surprise has been showing up to set with such an amazing crew and cast. I've talked about this a little bit before of, Farewell Amor was obviously a very intimate film, and the way in which we filmed it was very intimate setting. And I've been shocked by the way in which something as big as Batman, I can find those moments of intimacy with crew members. I mean, with COVID now, it's a little difficult, right? But yeah, it's just amazing. Like, I love showing up to my job. It's not like we hear about people's first big films or first films, and it's just terrible stories that we hear. I ain't got that. I'm showing up to work and I love it. Love it.
What did you make of the, obviously we don't see you in the trailer, but what did you make of that?
Oh no, I'm in there. You just can't
look. You see.
If you blink, you miss me.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now in like super high definition to find you.
Right, exactly.
But that was extraordinary that they, before I let you go, extraordinary that they managed to put a trailer out knowing that the film was still filming, and obviously has now been delayed because of COVID, obviously, as everything has been. But that seems to be, from your experience, is that how the film is, or is that just a kind of a small drop in the pond, as it were, of what he's doing?
Well, first of all, I'll say when Dylan and our producer Dylan and when Matt texted me, because they were about to release the trailer, and they sent it, and I saw it. I texted him, I said, that is sick. that is sick. I mean, especially because a lot didn't get filmed. You know what I mean? Like, we stopped maybe a month and a half into production. So I was just amazed that they were able to get all of that. And it's just exciting. Like, I'm a part of the project, and I am still even more excited by that trailer, that teaser that they dropped. And I think people should continue to be excited. It's just, the script is amazing, and Matt is an amazing director, and everybody in the cast is phenomenal. And it's just going to be a really good film.
Yeah, I think people, with everything that's going on, I think people could wait. Are looking forward. Will happily wait a bit longer after seeing that.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, hopefully we get to see you in 2022 when the film comes out. Premiere, right. Hopefully, where we can shake hands and everything else. But for now, congratulations on Farewell Amor. It is a wonderful film, and I hope lots of people watch it when it comes out soon.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
No worries.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!